Audio Jungle.
Police following strong leads in probe of the killing of veteran journalist Barbara Gale. The police say they are following strong leads in the investigation into the killing of veteran journalist Barbara Gale. Her body was found at her home in Caymanas Estate County Club in St. Catherine. Head of Area 5 Senior Superintendent Christopher Phillips confirmed that Gale was last seen alive in the afternoon day before yesterday. SSP Phillips explained that residents who haven't seen her in the morning went to check on her. SSP Phillips says Miss Gale was stabbed multiple times. Her motor vehicle and cell phones are missing. Barbara Gale, who was employed at the Gleaner, was a court reporter and dedicated over 40 years to the profession. She won several awards including the Press Association of Jamaica Community Service Award and Journalist of the Year. This year, she was recognized by the Press Association of Jamaica for her significant contributions to journalism.
She was last seen sometime after 3 yesterday having a conversation with an unknown gentleman. This morning, sometime after 10, residents who are used to a routine coming out in the mornings to check on them and to call to them, they never saw that usual activity, and so some residents went to check on her where the lifeless body was discovered. We are following strong leads at this time. We have the full support of all the investigative arm of the force giving full support right now. We are deeply saddened by this. It's really a very horrible scene. We promise, we commit to giving our best effort to solving this case. On the surface of it, it's very worrying how things unfolded as to how that person got in. We are going to allow the investigative process to unearth all of that. Initial assessment is suggesting that she was stabbed multiple times to the right side of her neck, and we suspect she was also hit in the forehead. Well, the vehicle is missing and her phone is also missing. But as I said, give us some more time. We want to dig deeper into this one, and we commit the full team, focus on it to ensure that this one is solved.
Matthew Hyde sentenced to 13 years and 19 months in prison for torturing his ex-girlfriend. Former university student Matthew Hyde, who held his ex-girlfriend captive for 3 days while repeatedly assaulting her, was sentenced to 13 years and 9 months in prison on Tuesday afternoon. The 21-year-old pleaded guilty on September 26 to assault occasioning grievous bodily harm, use of malicious communication, 4 counts of assault occasioning actual bodily harm, and false imprisonment. He has been in custody since February 2023. Reacting to the sentence handed down by Justice Caroline Ty Powell, Hyde's attorney Patrick Peterkin told reporters that he expected a larger reduction in sentence due to his client's guilty plea. The attorney said he is discussing the possibility of an appeal with his client.
With respect to the sentence, I was expecting the sentence to be less than what was underdone by the learned judge that heard the sentencing hearing, especially the fact that he had pleaded guilty, and in terms of the sentencing regime normally would take account of the guilty. Well, the judge did take account of the guilty plea, but a deduction of 15% was made. We were expecting that he would have benefited a little more from the guilty plea than the 15% that the judge used her discretion to give him. I've started to speak with him and his family, and we will make a decision with respect to that in short order. The judge had indicated that the case is novel in terms of there is not much guidance from other cases, so in those circumstances it might be good for a matter like this to go before the Court of Appeal so we can have a full ventilation of it. But that is not my call. I'd have to hear from him and his relatives as to where they want to go.
2 ex-correctional officers found guilty of obtaining money under false pretense and other charges to be sentenced in January. 2 former Department of Correctional Services DSS officers have been found guilty of obtaining money under false pretense, conspiracy to defraud, and multiple breaches of the Correctional Service Act. The guilty verdict against Albert McLeod and Torrentolo was handed down in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court last Thursday. They are to be sentenced on January 14 next year. The men were charged in relation to what the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency MOCA described as an elaborate fraudulent scheme orchestrated in 2016. MOCA said it involved McLeod, Tolo, and an inmate at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Facility, Andrew Bryce. According to MOCA, Bryce, posing as a legitimate recruiter, preyed on aspiring artists with promises of lucrative employment opportunities, work permits, and visas. These individuals were reportedly deceived into making substantial payments to Price, McLeod, and Tolo. MOCA says its investigation revealed that Price recruited McLeod and Tolo to facilitate his operations. They reportedly acted as intermediators, collecting funds from couriers who received the payments from unsuspecting victims. Following the report of the scheme, MOCA says it launched a comprehensive investigation, including a two-day sting operation, which led to the arrest of Price, Teller, and two couriers. McLeod was apprehended after being positively identified in an identification parade, while Price pleaded guilty in 2017 and received a concurrent sentence of 1 year and 6 months per count. McLeod and Teller proceeded to trial. MOCA's Director of Communications, Major Bassett Jarrett, and Chief Parish Court Judge Chester Cox, in handing down the verdict, noted the significant breach of trust involved in the case. He also noted that grave implications for public institutions when those entrusted with authority act dishonestly. McLeod and Teller's bearing have been extended until their sentencing date next year.
The case involved a scheme orchestrated in 2016 by an inmate who, along with the two correctional officers, had defrauded aspiring artists of large sums of money. What was significant about that case, too, was the presiding judge praised MOCA's investigation, calling it a strong case that highlighted a serious breach of public trust. We're very happy at the outcome, but we're also very happy to see that the court system recognized the hard work that we had put in securing those victories.
Manchester party promoter changes venue following clash with council. Businessman and party promoter Eden Peart, more popularly known as Diamond Finger, says he has been given approval by the Manchester Municipal Corporation to stage its event Colour Splash on Christmas Eve, following a week of widespread debates and clash with the corporation. This after he moved the event venue from Main Street in Mandeville to Nashville, a few hundred meters closer to the town centre, with the support of the renowned Lynch family. The issue that we had before, we got it sorted out now. We have some discussion over the weekend and we came to a solution, and we don't have much time, so I decided to move the location to Nashville, right beside the bus park, he told reporters. The Lynch family, who operate a funeral home, agreed to allow Peart to use several acres of land in Nashville. He thanked them, however. He is still disturbed by the previous decision of the municipal corporation to revoke a permit that was initially granted for Main Street. Coming to the third location, it is very frustrating and costly. It is just a couple of days before the event. I hope they don't come back with any issue. The public can be assured that the event will go on the 24th, he stated. His brother and counsel Ryan Peart, People's National Party's Pertwee Division, who voted against the revocation, is calling for a committee to deal with events. There are several events that have been approved, and this is the first time we basically did a vote to make a decision. I don't see where the fairness in it is. There are things that we need to look into. It's like this, we need to have a committee to deal with it, he stated. The Peart brothers' cousin, former local government minister, parliamentarian, and mayor Dean Peart, shared a similar sentiment. The whole thing wasn't handled properly. If you make an application for something and you get the permission, and then after you've going to withdraw the permission, that is why I agree with Ryan that you should have a subcommittee now with all interested parties, so that one-man thing absolutely corrupt. The one-man thing is not going to work. You need to have a committee where all applications come in, and it will be a fair process, but this process is not right, he noted. When you look, he has had his event over a period of time, and it hasn't been a problem, and all of a sudden in every way you try and block it. Why? It must be victimization they are talking about. Why them victimize him? I don't know. Some people say it is political. I don't know. I am not in the agreement with what the Parish Council Municipal Corporation did, and this one-man thing not working out, he added. to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.